Oh no, Johanna, do you hear that? I think there's a giant monster outside of the store.
It's time to Hack the Movies with Tony and Johanna.
Hello, Johanna? That's how the person says your name in the intro. I thought it was always Johanna, but it's nice to see you again, Johanna.
It's Johanna.
Well, that's what you get when Justin Silverman gives the guy the pronunciation of your name. You get Johanna, so you're now Johanna. How are you, Johanna?
I mean, I could be better. My name could be said correctly. I mean, you just go to my Facebook. It has that freaking Johanna thing.
I don't think the voiceover guy went to your Facebook. I think he was just...
I mean, research. I mean...
I blame Justin because that's how he says your name. And he's known you for like 3-4 years now. Yes, we are here today to talk about Pacific Rim.
Yep.
Because giant monsters are all the rage now.
Kaijus.
Yes, kaijus. Obviously, we're going to begin it. We have a Godzilla podcast, Godzilla versus the Pod Monster. We talk about Kong and Godzilla a lot. But Pacific Rim has a new anime out.
I haven't watched it.
Pacific Rim the Black. It's actually really...
Is that a Netflix?
That's
thing?
Netflix
Okay.
too. Yes, so...
I have to renew my account.
Obviously, after Cuties, we canceled our account, but I had to borrow it to watch Pacific Rim the Black. Because, I canceled my Netflix account. Really, really good show set in this universe. Kind of wish the first Godzilla anime would have been that good. I finally finished it. It's awful.
I haven't seen that either.
I thought you did watch it.
I think I watched like one episode. I didn't watch all of it. I think I watched like half of an episode. Again, I don't have my Netflix account anymore, so like I can't watch anything.
After like 3 years, I finally finished the third one, and it's so god awful. Decided to go back and check out the original film from 2013, I think.
Yeah.
Directed by...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I still remember when this came out. Oh my god, I'm old. Well, you're old.
Okay, it hasn't come out yet, but I did a Power Rangers episode with 2 people in their early 20s, and holy shit, I felt old in that. You'll see that. When I was like, they're like, yeah, I grew up with this Power Rangers. I'm like, oh, I saw this one in the theater, and like, we weren't born yet. I'm like, oh god, I'm so old. Anyway, Pacific Rim, Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim.
Yep.
One of his many movies that could have been a really great franchise, and for some reason didn't take off, like Hellboy. Hellboy, I really liked Hellboy, and then he got a second chance with the second one, and it came out a week before The Dark Knight. Not good timing.
It sucks because like they're great movies.
I know, they're really good. I didn't see the reboot. I heard the reboot was pretty terrible.
That's what the guy from Stranger thing.
Yeah.
David
Harbour.
He's gonna be in Black Widow, I think.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Well, he was in commentary track. He's in Suicide Squad. He's random government guy. Exactly. Check out our commentary track. Me and Newt did that. So this is Guillermo del Toro's like tribute to anime and giant monsters and mech stuff.
There's a lot of little like Easter eggs hidden throughout
it's
this
like
entire
everything
movie.
he loved in like one big movie.
Besides fucking the monsters. But that's in Shape of Water.
But yes.
So he lived out all his fantasies, just not all in one movie.
What fantasy was he trying to live out in Mimic? The movie about the cockroaches that look like people?
Who knows?
You know what? That is a franchise he started that got 2 sequels. Direct to video, but it got 2 sequels. Good for him. So I remember being really excited for this movie because I like Del Toro. I like giant monsters, and this is legendary. At the time, they were getting ready to come out with Godzilla 2014.
Yep.
They had done the Peter Jackson King Kong, and I know Guillermo del Toro worked close with Peter Jackson on things when Del Toro was supposed to do The Hobbit, and then that didn't happen.
If only.
A Hobbit is another issue for another day. But
if I'm not on that, you better put me on that episode.
Yeah, I was so annoyed.
Me and Newt.
I was so annoyed he wasted so much time on The Hobbit because we didn't get like Del Toro for a bit, and then he came back with this. But for whatever reason, this movie didn't like stick the landing for a lot of people, and I guess we're gonna go through that.
I mean, I personally love it.
I really love this. I really, really, really like this movie, but I do have issues with it. There's stuff that holds it back.
Yeah.
First off, the name Pacific Rim. It makes sense in context of the film.
Yeah.
But like, it's just not a very attention-grabbing name for movie about robots fighting monsters. Also, it leads people like Sean from Movie Dumpster to make jokes like Pacific Rim
Oh,
Job.
God damn it, you did it.
Work a Pacific Rim Job joke in there, Sean. And then I told him, like, here's how I'm going to do it, Sean. I'm going to say Sean told a terrible joke. There's the Pacific Rim Job joke in my episode. Subscribe to Movie Dumpster. Pacific Rim, it's just, it's a stupid title. It should have been, I don't know, what would you have called this?
I mean, they could have The Breach or something, but isn't that a movie?
That's a game. There's a game called Into the Breach.
I mean, it could have been The Breach, because...
Breach sounds a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's like Stargate, Breach. Just...
robots versus monsters.
Jaeger bombs. Because they're
Kaijus
Jaeger.
versus Jaegers. I don't know.
It could have been anything. Just not...
The Jaegers.
not Pacific Rim. It's like, okay. Because then it's like, oh, so only those people have to deal with it? I'm okay. We're on the East Coast. I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah, right?
Until Atlantic Rim.
It's attacking everywhere else over there? Shit, have fun.
Well, let me know when they get here and we'll deal with it.
We're in the middle of nowhere anyway. We're fine.
Yeah. So the beginning of this film is really good. It does a really good world building. Our main character, Raleigh, Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's what
He was supposed to be
the next big thing.
No, he was supposed to be the 50 Shades of Grey guy.
Yes, he was.
And then he wasn't.
And it's funny, actually bringing that up, he apparently had better chemistry with Dakota
Oh, yeah.
Johnson?
Dakota Johnson, yeah.
Johnson. And then you watch the actual 50 Shades of Grey and you're like, ugh.
I didn't watch that. What are you talking about? Why would I watch that?
You really never watched it?
No.
Why?
Why would I watch 50 Shades of Grey?
Because it's so fucking funny.
I guess.
It's so funny.
There's other funny stuff to watch, though.
Oh my God, please watch it. It is the funniest.
All right, join us next month where we do 50 Shades of Grey. God damn it. Anyway, we find out that aliens, they opened up a breach on our planet underwater in the Pacific Ocean. In the Pacific Rim.
I was gonna say in the Pacific Rim.
Where giant kaijus come out, and of course they go right to the Golden Gate Bridge. They couldn't wait. They had to go right to that Golden Gate Bridge.
They always gotta destroy it in whatever movie.
I know, and this movie's in the future, so I mean, they just rebuilt it from Godzilla. What do you know? So you get ultimate destruction. They talk about how like it took like days for them to kill the first kaiju.
Yeah. There was like 1 billion tanks that were used and blah, blah, blah. Not a billion. But
not a billion.
I'm summarizing.
And then they came up with the Jaeger program, which is giant rope. Not just let's build bigger bombs. It's like let's make giant robots to just punch them a lot.
Look, it's giant monsters. Of course, you have to have the giant robots. Which, by the way, do you know what Jaeger means?
Hunter?
Yes.
Yeah, it's explained in the beginning.
I'm making sure.
It's explained.
I'm making
Did you
sure.
think you were cool with that?
No, I did not. Actually, the entire time I was watching this, because I have been watching Attack on Titan, the main character's last name is Jaeger, and I'm like, now I get it.
People recommend that to me all the time. I watched clips from the live action movie, and the special effects are horrifying.
No.
Like they're not bad. They're just very unsettling. It's just,
Don't watch that. The anime's good.
no, I don't watch cartoons.
You just said you watched the Godzilla. I swear to God. But yeah, you should watch it, but I would wait until the whole thing comes out because it's like almost done airing. I think there's going to be a movie coming out next.
I'm just going to binge them. I'm going to watch the live action ones and just sum it up for me.
No.
There's this whole idea where two people need to pilot them and they have to share like a neural network.
Yeah, because they showed the guy who tried it by himself. And
he's just like seizuring out.
His nose is bleeding. His eyes like completely fucked.
Yeah, because like it's just too much power to control the thing, so you got to share it, and you have to be compatible, and there's ways to become compatible.
It still cracks me up, but it's just like, why can't they just have like actual controls to move stuff around? I don't know. Is that me?
Why can't they do it remotely? I don't know.
That too.
But they talk about how like family members and stuff are like better.
Yeah.
For the drift, they call it, when they connect to each other. Also, I like cool stuff for like the first one that dies, they put its big head in the museum.
Yeah.
I think they build like a city around one of them, and then
because it was like kind of like a calm period, and then they came back again.
And like their body like interacts with the environment. There's like kaiju blue, like their blood is like full of ammonia and stuff. But then there's like so really cool world building. So of course we get to the first fight, and our brothers get suited up.
Hey kid. Yeah? Don't get cocky.
Like Star Wars. Did you ever see Star Wars?
No, never.
Well, in Star Wars 1, also known as Star Wars 4, Han Solo says to Luke Skywalker, he says, "Great shot, kid. Don't get cocky." And this movie did it.
Also, I realized this movie has like the same problem with the other like monster fight stuff where it's always in the rain.
However, a lot of the monsters glow and they put a ton of lights on the Jaegers, so it helps.
I mean, I'm not saying that like you can't see anything because you can clearly see, but
Yeah.
like and a lot of the monsters hold up like for like recent times too. I was looking at some of them, I'm like, oh,
It works for the first scene.
so much rain.
Yeah, there is a lot of rain.
There's so much rain. I hate it.
I mean, that would be scary if you're on that tiny boat in the rain and then that shit's
I
happening.
mean, look, I get that scene or whatever, but just every single fight scene, there's always rain.
Yeah. So the brothers go out there to fight Knifehead, who looks like, what I have the name.
Is it an
here for.
Imhotep? Is that the Imhotep one?
Emotep, what?
Yeah, there's one of the monsters. It's actually it's like a callback to Emhotep because like in the original Mummy,
Oh,
because it looks like him.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Oh god, I forget which one it is, but there's that. Look it up. I swear to God.
Okay.
I'm not lying.
Well, Knifehead looks like Euron from Gamera. It is a monster with a knife head, which I think is pretty cool. So they're out there. They're supposed to just tackle the kaiju, but they want to also save the boat. And Idris Elba is like in charge of this whole operation.
Hot.
All right, get it out of your system. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
their Jaeger is Gypsy Danger. They got some weird ass names for these Jaegers. Gypsy Danger is fighting Knifehead, but Knifehead fucking rips the head open on Gypsy Danger and just rips the brother out of the skull. But he ends up dying also.
Duh.
But no, I mean like Knifehead also dies.
Oh, yeah.
Like they like kind of kill each other.
Yeah, because the brother ends up doing it by himself.
Yes, and this is where we get the whole like, oh man, someone close to me died, so I quit being a fighter cliche. This is the start
All right,
of many
look,
cliches.
At least for this one, they were linked up mentally, so like he
Yeah.
got to feel everything.
Yeah, there's something
so,
there. I'm just saying the cliche of like,
I get it, but also this one's a little more,
so that's an exciting scene, and I really like the scene afterwards where like the dad and kid are looking for like metal scraps, and then it's just the Jaeger walking.
He just collapses.
And he comes out like all bloody and stuff. Because he ends up like, I think only him. You find out in the movie, only him and Idris Elba have ever piloted alone and like lived. Years later, Idris Elba is fighting with the leaders of the world because apparently the Jaeger program is not working well enough.
This reminds me of the scene with Samuel L. Jackson and freaking
The
Shield or
Security
whatever.
Council,
He's like,
yeah.
stupid ass decision. I'm like, wow, this is literally like shot for shot.
And it came out like a year, even if it wasn't intentional. I think that also, that's the problem with this movie. It starts to feel like other movies when it's doing this stuff. They're basically like, Idris Elba, we don't like your robots anymore. We have a better idea. So they're very, very tired of these aliens crossing their borders and ruining everything. So the Security Council decides to come up with a big wall to keep them out.
You think that's where he got the idea? You think he watched this movie and was just like, you know what? Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know
Tony.
what you're talking about. Are you referencing something that might have happened in the news over the last few years? I don't watch the news. It's all negative. So much to the disappointment of the world's leaders and some other people, the wall doesn't work, and Monster just rips through it. And I love this scene.
It takes like 2 seconds. Yeah, because it's all the people who are currently working on a wall. I forget, where are they at?
Raleigh, they're like in Alaska or something like that.
So whatever, wherever the hell they are. But like over, what was it
In Sydney.
Sydney, that's what it is.
Yeah. So they're like the wall they're currently building. They look on TV.
And this thing just slices through it like butter. It's like a knife and butter. It just goes right through it. And they're all like, well, shit, why the hell are we making this?
I love, if you listen really close, you just hear a guy in the background going, why the hell are we building this thing? But what stops it? A Jaeger.
Wow.
A Jaeger piloted by
Oh my goodness.
Warlow from True Blood.
That's where I knew. I was looking at his IMDb and I could not figure it out. I know he was in the Warcraft movie and he was also in something else that was like recent. I can't remember what the hell it was. But I was just like, I know him specifically from something.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, he was Warlow from True Blood. Yes, I watched True Blood. We
Good
both watched
to
True
a
Blood.
point.
Season 3 on.
It literally was.
Season 5 it got a little bit better. And then they kind of fucked up the Billith thing. Like, that was so cool, and then it was just kind of teetered
Nothing.
off. Anyway, Warlow and his dad, who look like they're the same age, and I always call them the twin father and son.
I literally thought it was another brothers thing.
That probably just means, like, the actor, maybe he is way older than the son, but he's aging wonderfully. Holy shit, that guy's a silver fox. He's aging super well. Like, if I picture, like, an adult and their father, I picture, like, me and my dad piloting that thing where there's clearly an age difference.
Is there, though?
I am aging horribly, but anyway. In Sydney, like, they're, what's their name? Striker Eureka. Just unloads, like, a million fucking rockets.
I really feel like they're just, like, grabbing random, like, cool-sounding words and just like, yeah, that name, yeah.
I was hoping...
Striker Eureka, yeah.
I was hoping the monster would fall into the Sydney Opera House like the American Godzilla does in Godzilla Final Wars.
Yeah.
Still pissed that fight was so short. Anyway, but yeah, they're on TV and they're just like, Jaeger program, like, because they were like being dismantled. Mm-hmm. Like, they just happened to be around, they had their Jaeger and they were able to take it down. He's like, you can't shut us down. We're the only thing stopping this.
They kind of explain later why they're able to, like, get to places.
Yeah.
But
eventually, yeah. So yeah, Raleigh, am I saying that right?
Raleigh?
Charlie Hunnam. Am I saying that right? I don't know.
Raleigh?
Chuck.
Raleigh?
So, Chuck is working on the wall. Yeah, and Idris Elba comes to him and it's trying to get him out of retirement. So you have that cliche of the warrior doesn't want to come out of retirement.
You're like, would you rather die here or over there in a Jaeger?
So it's like
why am I suffering?
I don't know. I think Dark Knight Rises had that where it's like, you got to come out of retirement. And he's like, I don't want to. There's a bunch of movies. And yet I'm having trouble thinking of them now. I guess most recently Star Wars, Luke Skywalker didn't want to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
I do this now.
I drink the green milk.
But of course, as predicted, he comes out of retirement.
Yeah,
He's like, we need you to pilot one of our Jaegers. We only have like 4 left. You were the best pilot ever. And he's like, no, I don't want to do it. Okay, I'll do it.
Literally, it was, do you want to die here or do you want to die over there in the Jaeger?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, shit.
Yeah. And then they get to the Shatter Dome, I think is the names of this place are fucking kind of great. I kind of love the names.
Reminds me of Thunderdome.
Yeah. Tina Turner's there in a chainmail dress. At the Shatter Dome, we meet Mako, which is Idris Elba's adopted daughter.
Either he officially adopted her or he just kind of had her with them and they didn't care because, it's the end of the freaking world. People probably don't care about paperwork.
And that's him anymore. And his one daughter, his one and only child.
No other children.
Yeah, there's no other children he has. Just that one girl, and he only mentions her, and he never mentions any other children because he has no other children.
And he clearly is very protective over her because it's just the one child.
Yes. I imagine if he had another child, he would also be protective of them. But since we didn't see that child, they clearly don't exist.
Clearly.
Pacific Rim Uprising. Why? I hate when they do that. Like, it would be funny if they did it as a bit. We're like, oh yeah, they should have went back and added scenes of Idris Elba. Like, we're canceling the apocalypse and then added a new scene. He's like, for my little boy at home.
Why couldn't they just make it like Idris Elba's like past? Like, he could have just played the same character.
Or just like it's his nephew or something. Like the son thing was weird. Anyway, focus on this movie. God damn it. He meets Mako, and there was an original idea in the script that was actually really cool, where like he only spoke English, she only spoke Japanese. By the way, his American accent is awful.
Oh, it's terrible.
Apparently he's on Sons of Anarchy. I don't know how it is on that.
I've never watched it.
But it looks like he's really struggling to speak with an American accent. So they were going to originally speak different languages, and then through the drift, they would start to learn each other's languages, and then they got rid of that idea.
Yeah,
probably because it would take too long.
Kind of like,
well,
remnants of that scene is when she starts speaking the Japanese, and he like looked confused for a second, but then
it just turns out he knows Japanese, like, and she knows English.
Hey.
And she looks like she's into him right away. Just saying. Just saying.
I'm actually surprised they actually didn't do like an actual romance thing with them.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end. That was weird. Then we meet two characters that prick Newt and Hermann, the two scientists. And Newt's played by Charlie Day. And Hermann is that...
Newton.
Yeah, Hermann is that, like, weird, creepy guy who worked for Ben Mendelsohn in The Dark Knight Rises. That film that I was in. Did you... I mentioned Dark Knight Rises twice now, but I realized the first time I didn't mention I was in it. Anyway, me and my best friend from Dark Knight Rises, he's in the film. And they are two scientists that don't get along. Like, he's like, this is another cliche. He's like, I'm the cool, wacky,
quirky,
live by the seat of my pants one. The other one's like, I am the strict by the book one. It's like, okay, we've seen these characters. I haven't said that, though. They're probably the best characters in the movie. I kind of love those guys.
I love Charlie Day.
I kind of love, like, Charlie Day is like too into kaijus, and he's like,
he has the tattoos.
Yeah, he's got like piece of their brain there that he's bringing.
The one tattoo, was it Raleigh?
He's
like pointing out, he's like, yeah, me and my brother killed that one.
He's like, yeah, he's so cool. It's like, okay.
I really want to see one up close. No, you don't.
Then we get into the Shatter Dome. We see the last Jaegers left are the one from Sydney.
The Russian one.
The Russian one with the girl looks like she's the Jane Lynch character from Wreck-It Ralph. And then the Chinese one where they have three brothers because it's like a 3-arm technique. So two guys pilot, and I guess the one guy just swings his arm around. And the last one is a rebuilt Gypsy Danger with nuclear reactor and all.
Yeah, the other ones are like pure like electric type,
yeah, they're like
right?
digital and electric and whatnot. The Hansons, the father-son twins, they kind of like give Raleigh a little shit. Well, the younger one does, and I can't get over how much they look alike. It's really bothering me. They have a pug.
It's not a pug. It's a bulldog.
Second take, they have a bulldog, and I knew.
We're keeping that in.
What? Johanna, what kind of dog do they have? Oh, they have a pug, Tony. No, Johanna, it's a bulldog. Clearly, how could you get that wrong?
I don't know. How could you, seeing as you kind of lived with one? You're around one sometimes. You know?
I did for a bit. So we find out that Idris Elba has this plan to nuke the breach. And not everyone's on board for it because I guess they've attacked the breach before and nothing happens. So it's weird that they've come to this decision.
It's because they have like so much more power to use with the nuke or something like that. I forget exactly what he said, but
I think so. Yeah,
it's more powerful.
Yeah, he thinks like the nuke will be able to like break whatever is deflecting the breach, but it's kind of risky. However, that asshole Newt has a plan to connect his brain to a kaiju.
Yep.
And learn about all their stuff, and that plan gets shot down because they're like, what the fuck? No, you cannot do that. And then we get this whole plot line where Raleigh's trying to find a candidate to be his, co-pilot, and like it turns out like Mako is not a candidate for the drift, even though she's like kind of perfect. She's like forbidden from doing it by Idris Elba.
Like the fight stuff or whatever, and he like kicks everybody's ass in like 2 seconds. And then she mentioned something about like, oh yeah, you could have done it like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Like 2 moves ago is what she actually says.
Yeah.
And then it turns into them doing their little fight thing, and it shows that they are compatible and like they see how, each other's movements are and everything. And then Idris Elba's being all like, I'm a strict daddy and you can't do it.
Yes, that's exactly. That was a great Idris.
Right?
Oh my God, Heimdall? What? Oh my God, I loved you in that one season of The Office, Idris Elba. Oh, it's just Johanna. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, they have that kind of fight, and it's like a cute fight, and you think they're gonna be into each other, and then nothing.
I'm still surprised that nothing ever comes of it.
Yeah. And then Idris like warns her. It's like, I don't want you on there because you'll bring your anger and your vengeance into the drift, and it'll be too dangerous. And it's like, well, Raleigh might also do that. He's kind of angry and wants vengeance.
Which he kind of does. He messes it up kind of.
He does. He really does end up messing it up. And then, Raleigh and Warlow, it's just Warlow now, they get into a dick measuring contest. And this kind of reminds me of the relationship between Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise and Top Gun. Tom Cruise is like the Maverick, and Val Kilmer's the more serious one. Yeah. Val Kilmer's not in that movie that much. We reviewed it over like last summer, and for some reason I remember Val Kilmer being like the second lead in that film. And he's just barely in it. He's not in the new one.
Huh.
Yeah. Me and Justin were going to go to a signing with him and do Joker fan and Mega Bat Friend. And the bit was going to be, we want him to sign our poster, but we don't stop talking to him about Batman until we're asked to leave. And then like that week, they're like, Val Kilmer is dealing with cancer or something. We're like, you know what? Let's not bother. let's leave Val Kilmer alone. And then we get the overprotective father cliche again. Again, and a lot of cliches in here. A lot of the tough guy with the young girl he has to protect. It's just they needed better characters. And
I also feel like there was more characters than there needed to be too.
Oh, there's definitely that. But as we're learning from our podcast, that is a problem with all giant monster movies. Every giant monster movie has too many goddamn characters.
And they want to like make you feel for each one of them. And it's just like, no,
There's just
give
not
me like
enough time.
3 people and then show me some cool robots and monsters, please.
That dickhole Newt, he ends up drifting with a kaiju brain and sees stuff from
By
the
himself.
kaiju world. Yeah.
He doesn't even have any backup there in case something goes wrong.
No. So he's breaking the rules and he sees like visions and stuff of they call them the precursors, the aliens who make the kaijus and like send them to Earth because they're all like psychically connected and shit.
Hive mind.
They have a hive mind, like the Borg in Star Trek. Mako disobeys her father, and she ends up.
Well, we're still talking about Charlie Day.
Wait, this part cuts back and forth. She disobeys the father, and she drifts with Gypsy Danger, and then it cuts back to that scumbag Newt.
Well, no, it wasn't a no from him. He said that she could do it. He ended up saying that it was okay.
Oh yeah, I guess he did. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's that whole thing where because Charlie Day like ruins it because Idris Elba's character was there and he was like watching this happen because they ended up actually syncing up really well together.
Yes.
And basically, someone came in saying like, Charlie's Day or Newt.
No, Herman comes in.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you better leave.
Yeah,
He's like,
Newt did this thing. He's like, well, you of all people should understand, like, this is a big moment.
And then
for
when
me.
he tells him what he did, he just walks out of the room.
He's
He's like, oh no.
God damn.
But yeah, so that scumbag Newt, he's there and he's telling them like what's happening.
What he just saw.
And again, another cliche. He's like, the aliens want to come to our planet and use all our resources because they keep using resources and then going to other planets and they're going to terraform it. And it's like, okay, Independence Day. And that was the plot of X-Files. That was the mythology of X-Files where the aliens wanted to take over the world. And seen it. Anyway.
Yeah, they were saying, what was it? That the first wave of the monsters was just to basically like wipe out Earth.
Yeah.
And then the other wave was supposed to like come and like fix it, I think.
Yeah, he's like we kind of terraformed it for them.
Yeah.
He's like they came here during the dinosaur age, but there was too much like oxygen in the air or something like that. So Idris is like, look, you need another brain. I know a guy who could get you another brain. He's a black market dude, Hannibal Chow. Who is a person we find out, Guillermo del Toro regular. But yeah, Raleigh, back to the ship, Raleigh falls out of the drift, and this causes...
And, this is actually his fault, because he ended up latching onto when his brother got ripped out.
Yes. Which then triggers her memory, which is like one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
I love that scene where like it turns into the black void and then she's like there looking at herself. But
then she actually turns into like her younger self. Like, Raleigh's there to like watch.
Yeah, she when she was a little girl, I guess her family was killed in like an attack, and then like a big Abira shows up. It's Abira.
It's basically Abira.
Abira from the Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. He shows up. I love that he can like just see this tiny little girl and he just like screams at her. It's like horrifying.
Mouth.
So he's like chasing her, and then she gets scared, obviously. But then in real life, like you said, she puts her arm up.
She goes and hides behind the dumpster, and then it comes and somehow knew she went behind the dumpster, like in that little alleyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, I guess it's high enough up where it could be like, all right, I see a little girl with the bright blue jacket and red shoes.
Yeah. Also, not a good place to put your command center, like right in front of the Jaeger.
Yeah, what the hell?
That was a bad idea.
Or even have like I don't know, since they have one failsafe, have another failsafe just in case the other one does break.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever.
How about just put cameras in the Jaeger part? and put your command center in a building next to it.
Or have some other thing where it's not the Jaeger where people can practice doing that.
Yeah.
So they don't accidentally set off the... Whatever. Basically, the thing comes and it's about to, like, come down where she is by the dumpster.
But he's able to, like...
She throws her hand up.
Yes.
And then that makes the... Was plasma cannon?
Yeah, the plasma cannon. So she almost just murders everyone. But he's able to break her out of the drift. There's more to the story, but we find out a little bit later. But before that, we go to Hong Kong, and that sleazeball Newt is on the search for Hannibal Chow. And I think the guy he talks to in the beginning is the dude from Blade 2, one of the Russian guys from Blade 2, because Guillermo del Toro did Blade 2.
Then probably.
The Blade 2 is awesome. Fucking, I love Blade 2. CGI body doubles were pretty bad, but Blade 2 is fucking metal. Anyway, Hannibal Chow shows up, and who is it?
Ron Perlman.
Hellboy himself.
And isn't this like the first movie that he was human in with Del Toro? Besides, like, there was like another one in the past. I forget. It begins with a C, I think it is. I can't remember. Like, it's on like the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about. I'd have to look at it. Yeah, this might be the first one where he's human.
Besides, like, one he did like in the past. I forget what it's called though.
I think he's a weirdo on Twitter, but all actors are. But I really like his performance. That jacket he has that red jacket with the logo. By the way, I think the Legendary logo, the studio logo, is on there.
Oh, that's funny.
When I was filming that TV show years ago, I think I might have the picture still. We had like a big wardrobe rack, and I found. Not that exact one, but I found a red like velvet shirt that looked almost exactly like it.
Wow.
I did a picture of me back to back with it.
Also like the gold-plated shoes.
Oh yeah, the shoes and like the spurs. Yeah, his wardrobe is great, and apparently his name is after.
So I take it you're Hannibal Chow, right?
I like the name. I took it from my favorite historical character and my second favorite Szechuan restaurant in Brooklyn.
He's like selling like the parasites that come off the kaiju and stuff.
Friggin' Newt's freaking the frick out because like
he's like, is this that? Is this that?
It's like Candyland for him, basically.
Yeah. Warlow, I think he refers to Mako as bitches, or he refers to Raleigh and Mako as bitches.
Yeah, something about like the leash or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, get your bitch on a leash or whatever, and he gets his ass fucking kicked. To the point where like even his dad is pissed off. He's the protector of women. In Idris grounds Mako, he's like, you cannot get in one of these anymore. And you know, he's basically like, you're not allowed to pilot. And then we see the rest of the flashback and like why their connection is so strong.
Yeah, because Raleigh ends up chasing
the crab monster.
No, Idris Elba down the hallway.
Right.
And he's like, look, like, I understand.
Yeah, I was in there.
Like, and I saw the memories and stuff like that, but like, she's perfect. And then he's just like, I don't care what you think you saw. Blah, blah, blah. What do you mean, what do you think you saw? Like, he clearly saw it. Yeah. Like, no, well, he opens up and then he gets out, whatever, and then he's like smiling at her and she's smiling at him. It's super. She's so cute.
It's a really good scene. It's probably the best scene in the movie. It's really, really good. So while that's happening, the Breach dispatches 2 kaijus to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Back at Hannibal's thing, he's telling him, like, I need a brain to merge with. They have a hive mind. And then he's like, well, the brain, there's too much ammonia on the brain. Like, it's worthless. He's like, no, but there's a second brain because it needs 2 brains like the dinosaurs. And that's been a debunked myth for a very long time, that dinosaurs...
I always thought it was like a little Easter egg because they find out that Godzilla has a second brain in, was it the Mechagodzilla 2? The fight one? Because remember they say that?
Maybe.
That's what I took from it.
Okay, if that's what it is, then I'm fine with it. But that was even basically...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just reaching, maybe. I don't know.
People used to think that dinosaurs needed 2 brains to move around. And I guess that's why there's 2 pilots in the Jaegers, which is that's a cool thing. But yeah, he tells, like, Hannibal, like, yeah, I drifted with a brain. And Hannibal right away is like... He's like, you need to get out of here.
You what?
Yeah, and he's like, what's wrong? He's like, yeah, they have a hive mind and you drifted with it. He's like, I wonder who they're coming here for. And I love that line where he's like, what's going to happen? He's like, well, I'm going to get my private bunker. You're going to go to a public shelter. I tried it once.
And then his eyes messed up.
His like face is all screwed up.
How'd you feel about the eye?
It was post-stabbed, so I didn't care about that. Yes.
You're going to look like that one day?
Probably. I have a checkup tomorrow. I hope to God they're like, you're all healed and you'll be fine forever.
the Jaeger gets like completely like messed up, and it's like a giant slash through it where the water was getting to the reactor, and then it blew up.
Right. So they're like killed.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead. And then Striker Eureka goes to take them on, but then one of them like launches an EMP attack.
Yeah.
Which would then happen next year in Godzilla. I feel like someone at Legendary was putting the same ideas into two different movies. So all the Jaegers are like digital, so their like circuits are fried or whatever. So they have to send.
Well,
Gypsy
Raleigh's
Danger.
like, look, dude, nuclear.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's like, we're analog, we're nuclear, we're our own power reactor, let's go. Dipshit Newt is hiding in the public shelter, and it turns out like they are after him. Like the one
and he's
Jaeger.
stupid, and he mentions to the people like, "Oh, they're after me," and even the one woman's like, "Yo, they're after this little man." Like,
they call him a little man. But I like the one kaiju is like big and bulky, and then the other one kind of looks like the American Godzilla, just thinner.
Yeah.
The old American Godzilla.
Yeah,
looks more like an iguana. And then Gypsy Danger comes to fight.
And it comes with the helicopters and everything, dropped in the water.
Fucking awesome. This whole scene is great when it's fighting like the big silverback, I think they call it. It's just beating I love the
basically
wrist.
King Kong.
Yeah, I love the elbow rocket. Like when you just went up regular punch just isn't good enough. You need that elbow rocket. They finally kill it and they're like, wait, hold on, let's check for a pulse.
And they just keep shooting it. And they just, no pulse.
And then he goes after the other one, but he shows up to fight that one just grabbing a ship as a sword. It just like bludgeons the monster with the goddamn ship. The one cool part is when he punches through the building, that was a miniature set.
Yeah.
They like 3D printed everything, and then the fist was digital, and I like when it comes up to the little ball.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect them to build, like, I mean, there's so much digital stuff in here. I was shocked that they actually built a set for this.
They had to. I mean, this is supposed to be like a good, like, I guess, love letter to, monster movies and stuff like that. They have to have at least, like, one miniature.
The kaiju grows wings and just starts flying.
Well, it's after it gets its tail cut off.
Yes.
Because that's what it's been basically using to, like,
been using
wreck
his tail to
everybody.
fight, yeah. And then it's like, by the way, I have wings.
It's just like, all right, fine.
And he flies, what's his face, all the way up into the air, like King Ghidorah would end up doing in the Legendary.
Anyway.
Did someone at Legendary, like, use this as a proof of concept for the Godzilla series?
Probably.
That's a little weird. There's so many. If it was like a different studio, I would consider it a ripoff. The fact that it's the same studio is like, why did you put all your ideas in this and then use them? Like, but that's a really cool scene where it's like flying it into the upper atmosphere, and they're like, we're out of weapons. Like, nope.
Mako's like, no, we have something.
We have a sword. Splits them right in half.
Yeah, she's like, for my family.
Oh yeah. There's this weird fake out where you think they're gonna like get really fucked up landing on Earth because they were just like, we're coming in too fast, and then it like crashes.
It was fine.
But then it was just fine.
I can understand if they said that before hitting the thruster thing to like you know, make them like slow down a little bit, whatever. But after that, I was like, what?
That thing doesn't have like a million.
And then it's like, brace yourself, and they just landed like a superhero pose.
Yeah, specifically a superhero pose. But I was like, don't they? I imagine if I was building that thing, I would have like 10,000 parachutes that would shoot out of it as it's falling.
I think they want room for other things than parachutes.
I mean, I guess none of them had flown at that point, so no one thought to do that.
Whatever.
That tiny man, Newt, he's real excited because he's like, oh, we got this dead thing. Let's get in there. Let's get its brain. And I kind of love this whole scene.
I love this scene.
Oh, the sequence where they're like, they go to get into the brain, and they were like, wait a minute, we found something. There's a heartbeat. And it turns out the thing was like, pregnant.
And Newt grabs the thing. He's like, wait a minute. What is that? He's like, oh God, it's pregnant. And it literally just bursts out. You see the umbilical cord and everything.
Yeah, it bursts out, he eats him, and then it's like chasing him with the umbilical cord and like falls, and then Hannibal celebrates a little too early.
Anyway, I was
Also, we found out earlier in the film, we forgot to mention it, another cliche. Guy coughs into napkin and there's blood showing he's dying cliche. Yeah. It's like Saturday Night Live parodied that years ago. They were like, it was supposed to be like an acting tape. They're like, you'll learn stuff like coughing into a napkin and then hiding it. I'm like, wow, we're really doing this. We're really doing this cliche.
It wasn't really like hidden though, because Mako knew.
She did know?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she knew.
Yeah, there's a part where he like it was a part where he coughed and he like wiped it, or if it was just his nose bleeding and it like fell or whatever. But like she like looks and she looks super sad.
Oh,
so
okay.
I always just took it that she knew, because like
Yeah.
otherwise you would be like, what the hell, Dad?
Yeah.
Instead she was just kind of like
It's kind of sad when you find out like why.
yeah.
Because like the first round of Jaegers they built didn't have enough shielding from the radiation. It reminds me of like in Vietnam when they used Agent Orange. And they were like, this will be fine. And then years later, it's like, oh, all these soldiers have cancer, including Tony's godfather. So thanks, Agent Orange. I got real personal. Anyway, so yeah, and then that's when he also gets told that he was the only one who piloted a Jaeger solo. They're the only two. And then that imbecile Newt teams up with Hermann, who's now on board. He's like, by Jove, I'm going to help you. Oh, no, they drift together. Mm-hmm. They both put the helmets on because he's like, we'll share the load just like they do in the Jaegers, because like the brain is too big to handle, which I think is very clever. That's very smart. And they learn more about the plan. And they're like, oh shit, it's not going to work. The plan isn't going to work. So yeah, back at the base, Idris Elba is going to pilot Striker Eureka because the dad in the previous fight broke his leg. Because Striker Eureka wasn't killed in that previous battle. It just went down. Arm. So if he gets into the kaiju, he's probably going to die because his body won't handle
Mako
it.
says it. She's like, dude, like, you will literally die.
But then he does his Independence Day speech. Very cliche. We're canceling the apocalypse. Doesn't quite have that sting of today is our Independence Day. And it does what they should have done. They should have got the extra from Independence Day who went like this afterwards. That is like my favorite, that is my favorite part of Independence Day. Everyone's like celebrating. It just cuts to one guy just going. Did you ever see Independence Day Resurgence?
No.
It's so bad.
I mean, I kind of figured.
It's like Independence Day 1 is like fun bad. Independence Day Resurgence is god awful.
Didn't Will Smith come back for that too?
No, he didn't come back.
It was Jeff Goldblum, right?
Jeff Goldblum. Everyone came back but Will Smith and Mae Whitman. They recast Mae Whitman, even though she's a very popular actress. Back to this movie. We're canceling the apocalypse. The twin father-sons have an emotional moment because they know this might be the last time they see each other, and they're like, oh man, I'm so sad. I'll never see you again, except for when I look in the mirror because we're the same person.
Pets a doggy.
They pet the dog. They should put the dog in there. Wait a minute.
The dog drips.
Wait a minute. You're telling me they didn't do any animal testing on these Jaegers? They didn't put some chimpanzees in Jaegers?
Oh my god.
That would have been friggin', because the human body kind of sucks structurally. You should have made ape Jaegers and put apes in it. That would have been awesome.
So
Look. We put dogs in rockets and sent them into space to see how well re-entry would do, and then we find out they burn up. You got to test this stuff on something. They should have tested it on apes, is all I'm saying.
Can we use you to test things?
No. They find out why the plan won't work. Because apparently the breach, it reads the kaiju signature.
Yeah.
And it's like only kaijus can go through this. So like if you throw the bomb, it's just going to deflect. So they learn that they have to ride a kaiju through the
Yeah, they have to actually go in.
Yeah. And then this final fight scene's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They're fighting like there's 2 or 3 kaiju they're fighting.
Pretty sure it's 3, right?
Yeah, I think there's 2 that they're fighting first.
Yeah.
And then the big one comes out. They're like, it's a class 6 or whatever.
By the way, did you ever play Portal or Portal 2?
A little bit, yeah.
You know GLaDOS?
Yes.
Did you ever notice the computer voice?
Is that that's the same voice? Yeah.
Apparently they were going to have the actual like GLaDOS voice, but
yeah,
they were like, no, it's going to be too distracting.
Yeah,
but you can still tell it's her.
You can still tell, yeah. I remember hearing about that a while ago. I also like the sets that they're in. They were actually built like on hydraulics and stuff, so they actually like shaked and shit.
Nice.
Like that would be horrifying. I wouldn't want to be in that. I wouldn't want to be suspended in
so
a
imagine
thing.
all the like practicing you have to do to like do the arm movements and stuff at the same time. Oh my god.
This fight scene by the breach is awesome. So they get to a point where they're like, shit, we need to like get rid of these kaiju or we can't go through. And Idris Elba comes up with the plan. He's like, look, we're gonna blow up the nuke to help you guys out. You got to go through there because Gypsy Danger is nuclear. You could just blow up Gypsy Danger. And super sad scenes like, bye,
He's
daughter.
like, you always see me in the drift.
Yes, and it's like when Randy Quaid said bye to his son in Independence Day. There's a lot of Independence Day in this, which is weird because Guillermo del Toro is a better filmmaker than Roland Emmerich. I don't know why he was borrowing so many things from Roland Emmerich. That's not the last Independence Day. There's one more Independence Day. But this scene with the nuclear bomb going off, and I love when it displaces the water around Gypsy Danger, and like the fish are falling, and then it comes right back in. That scene is so fucking great. And then they fight the last. Well, he plans on taking the one Jaeger, but it turns out the big one's still alive.
Yeah.
Fucking somehow.
Well, Kaiju, not Jaeger.
Kaiju, yes. Sorry, thank you. I'm gonna
anything to correct you.
just gonna keep editing these. Where
Tell
I'm
you
the
if
right.
you're wrong.
They ride the last Jaeger through the drift. The drift.
Kaiju.
They ride the last Kaiju through the breach.
Through they? So they ride the last Kaiju through the breach.
Yes.
This totally isn't a weird take.
And I love how like the portal or whatever, it looks organic.
Yeah.
It's got weird tentacles and it's causing this weird light effect.
It's going like...
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's like a poppy type of
Yeah,
looking thing.
it's weird.
I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. So he ejects Mako because I think she gets like injured or something.
Yeah, and then the oxygen supply was cut off for her.
Right. Because their like arm and leg and shit got all screwed up. So he ejects her and somehow she's able to go back through the portal, even though she's not a kaiju.
Yeah.
I guess you're allowed to go out. You just can't go in. I don't know.
Whatever. I guess once you're in there's no protection to get out.
Yes. Then he goes all the way into the alien world, which is it underwater or is he just floating?
I think he was just kind of floating.
I guess so. And we get to see the precursors. They look kind of weird. They kind of look like little bug people.
Yeah.
And he ejects. And then we get the final Independence Day ripoff where the nuclear bomb blows up in the face of the alien.
Yep.
I'm going to allow this one because, as me and Ryan said in the Stargate episode, Independence Day just ripped off the end of Stargate, and it's the same filmmaker and writer. Both movies end with the nuclear bomb blowing up in an alien's face. So if they're ripping off themselves, then I guess it's okay for Guillermo del Toro to rip them off.
Whatever.
And then destroys all of them. Raleigh goes up, and then
he's in the little thing.
He meets Mako again, and then they share.
Well, it looks like he's dead at first.
He looks like he's dead at first,
and then
he's
they
like,
wake
"I'm
up.
alive," and then they share a tender look.
And then they put their heads together, their foreheads.
What the fuck was that? What was that?
You know, people don't have to be like physical with each other to show emotion and that they care.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, but like,
you ever like just cuddle someone? God, Tony.
The whole movie felt like it was like building up toward a romance. I would have been fine if this movie was just they were friends. I'm okay with that. Fucking I really like Dread. There's no romance in that. I mean, they're not really friends either, but there's no romance, and like that's fine. But like the movie kept hinting at this romance.
Yeah, there was little snippets that they kind of threw in there, and I was just like, oh, well, they're probably gonna smooch at the end.
Oh, you know what?
They're not smooching.
Maybe they'll get together in the sequel. Psych. Raleigh's just gone, and then they kill Mako. She blows up in a helicopter.
Yeah, I didn't watch the second one because I saw that spoiler, and I was like, no.
Yeah, this one's pretty great. I enjoyed this movie, but like I said, I think the problem people had with it, well, one, Hollywood was pumping out just intellectual properties, and people were only seeing like Transformers and shit, and people were like, I think now audiences are like, we want to watch literally anything else. Like, we're tired of watching old shit. But at that time, they were like, Pacific Rim, it looks like Transformers. Skip. Which is sad, because this is better than any Transformer movie.
100%. It's disappointing to me that this, like, set up for a lot of good things. And because you know how a lot of movies like this, the sequel's always better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for this.
I think because with this one, you have that...
I saw it, but still.
As much as I'm criticizing the lazy script with its cliches and stuff...
It worked.
Yeah, like the love of Guillermo del Toro in this really shows when it comes to all the monster action and stuff. The second one doesn't really have that because they gave it to a different guy. He was a decent filmmaker. I've seen his other stuff, but it's lacking that personal touch.
Yeah,
and it's a bummer because like I wanted the sequel to this. I wanted more of this, and then the second one came out during Black Panther, and no one saw it because they were still seeing Black Panther.
By the way, did you see the post-credit or end credit, whatever the frick end of the movie credits scene from this?
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny? When I first saw it in the theater, we just left.
Oh.
Because we're like, it's not a Marvel movie. And then when I was watching it on video, like months later, I had it playing and then I heard something. I'm like, what? And then I see Ron Perlman. I'm like, Ron Perlman lived? What the fuck?
It's really good.
I see. He doesn't come back either.
Yeah, I thought at least like, oh, cool. Like he's still alive. There's still a lot of things that were kind of like, kind of cliffhanging.
Charlie Day is like the only big guy that returns from the first movie. And he's the best part of the second one. The second one, I'm going to give it another shot, but it's very weak. I will say the anime is very, very good.
I got to watch it.
It explores more. You should probably look at a recap of the second one if you don't want to watch it, just so you know what happened. It's exploring the world even more. It's exploring like what there's all new kaiju. There's like a boy who turns into a kaiju.
Is there rain?
No.
Good.
I haven't seen any rain yet. A lot of fights are during the day.
Good.
There's even, so the second one set up that Charlie Day was putting kaiju DNA in Jaegers.
Yeah.
And then the anime shows that like one survived and it evolved into like a whole new life form that is loyal to none of like either. It's not loyal to either side. It's bringing up a lot of cool stuff and ends on a cliffhanger. I'm hoping to see more of it. I'm seeing more of this world that I like, and the characters are even better in the new anime. So I highly recommend it. I highly recommend this.
Oh,
and I highly recommend you all check out our podcast, Casilla versus the Pod Monster. And we'll see you guys next time for more. I guess it's Godzilla versus Kong. We'll see you for that.
Yeah.
Yes. Now
Team Godzilla.
No, Team Kong. We're Team Kong.
Godzilla.
Oh no, Johanna, do you hear that? I think there's a giant monster outside of the store. Luckily, after I watched this movie, I got the idea to build a Jaeger of my own. And you know what? I think me and you are going to pilot it together and take on that monster because we've known each other for so many years. We're clearly drift compatible.
Yay.
Yeah, let's take on this monster. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm going to put this VR helmet on and log into the machine. And your helmet is under your seat. Feel free to put it on. And I got my controller here. That's also under your seat. Now, Johanna, we're firing into the robot. And let's go. Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! It's got us! It's got us! Johanna! I'm gonna hold it! Make sure you fire the rockets! Johanna, fire the rockets! Why aren't you firing the rockets?
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.